Greetings, Fabulites. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I got some questions for you. What opens with Gigi dreaming she's in the car with her daughter and Mac, and what closes with her rushing off in her car to get Mac with her daughter watching? If you guess Greenleaf, Season 2, Episode 7, Born to Trouble, you're correct. I'm Angela. The channel is Be Fabulous You, all one word. You can find me at Be Fabulous You on Twitter. You can find me at Be Fabulous You on Facebook. And maybe on Instagram. But if you guessed that, I'm reviewing it, I'm recapping. Welcome back. Please stick around and listen to my review and leave your comments and your thoughts, and like if you like the video, thumbs up it, subscribe, and all of that other good stuff. All right, let's get into it. So the first scene is Gigi dreaming. She's in the backseat of a car with her daughter, Sophia. She notices that Uncle Molester Mac is the driver, and she notices that Sophia is gone. What have you done with her? She asks Mac. And Mac asks her, what have you done with her? The next scene is in the Greenleaf mansion. Gigi is breakfasting with Lady May and Pastor Bishop Daddy. Her daddy tells her, your mama's frail with planning your sister's memorial. And then Gigi is like, what other pots of money might Uncle Molester Mac have used? We can't let this deferred adjudication end without him going to jail. He'll be free, and that can't seem right to you, can it? And Lady May leaves, and after talking about her old thankless child. And the father says to her, Pastor Daddy Bishop says, until your sister's memorial tomorrow is over, on, whatever it takes for you to be calm or be kind or be compassionate, be still, sit your ass down and be quiet, please, daughter. Okay, then the next scene is in the car. We see Lady May and Pastor Bishop Daddy. This is right after the scene before. Uncle Molester Mac calls Lady May, and he says, I didn't do it. And then we switch to Uncle Molester Mac and his new lady friend. She's 100% in his quarter, and she kisses him. And when she leaves, did he wipe her kiss from his face? I guess she too old for him. Okay, so in the car, the reason that Lady May answered the phone is because she was so upset about Gigi and her aggressive, angry pursuit of Mac and wildness that she got distracted and answered the phone. And Mac is saying he didn't molest the daughter. He didn't cause her to commit suicide. She committed suicide on some other stuff, but it wasn't on him. And then we're in Gigi's office with the lady detective. Gigi is raving mad. They talk about the sexist patriarchal eye that the judge has in Memphis. That's just the way things are in Memphis. And they have one shot, the lady detective says, but she can't pursue it because the case is closed. But she said that there was a 16-year-old girl who was neighbors with Uncle Molester Mac in his old building, and no one followed up. But the neighbor said that they used to be friendly. So she just kind of slips Gigi the paper. Then the next thing we see, we're in Skank's office. Pastor Jacob Greenleaf Jr. Triumph 2 is in there with somebody named Brittany, and she's going over money. And basically Triumph needs cash. Triumph needs money now. We need to leave this, trying to build this Triumph 2 alone. We can't afford it. And Jacob is like, yeah, let's, just pass on it. And Skank is like, we are never giving up. We need to pray. You need to pray. We are not giving up. He says it's a mission from God. And Jacob is like, well, maybe it's revenge. And Pastor Skank says, we're not giving up like Moses didn't give up. And how come a mission from God can't also be revenge? The next thing we see is the divorce signing meeting with Questioning Kev and Charity. And after they sign the paperwork, Questioning Kev asks Charity, are you happy now? And Charity says, no. And then we're in Charity's office. Pastor Bishop Daddy brings her a package. It's her CDs. Yay! And she sees the lake in the background, and that's the lake where her sister committed suicide. And she's kind of sad and feels away like, should I change it? Her father's like, it's cool. It's a, it's a tribute to your sister. And then she says, Daddy, I'm divorced. And her father holds her and comforts her and says some sweet words to her. Then the next thing we have is Gigi arriving and questioning the desk clerk at Mac's old building about Michaela. That's the 16-year-old girl that he had a relationship with, some of his neighbors said. And the desk clerk is like, look, we're not allowed to discuss residence with strangers. And Gigi says, he molested my sister and she killed herself, and I'm trying to prevent it from happening again. Please help. It's the right thing to do. And the desk clerk is like, well, the girl had a tough home life, and she did spend time with Mac, and she gets home from school around 4. So the next thing we see is Mac is on a park bench. Uncle Molester Mac is on a park bench, and he's meeting up with somebody named Ship. I'm not sure if that's his name, but he's Ship is like, look, I don't know why you meeting with me. What's up? I already stuck my neck out for you with the judge. And Mac is like, Uncle Molester Mac is like, I need a job. And the man, Ship or whatever, is like, well, I'll see what I can do. Okay, then the next thing we have is Kev in an office apartment searching. Oh, Kev is in his office and he's searching for an apartment. He need a place to live. He got to move out to Greenleaf Mansion. And Charity comes in and he's kind of short with her. He's still mad with her about, about her telling, and he gonna have to deal with his questioning. He gonna have to ask the questions and get some answers or start working on that process, and it's gonna be more public than he wanted it to be. And she asked, Charity asked if her husband, her ex-husband, now ex-husband, is coming to face Memorial, and she says she's hoping that he would, and he said that he'd rather not. And she's kind of disappointed. He said, look, I'm having a bad day, I'm sorry, and I'm trying to find an apartment. Every time I call for an apartment, they already got rid of it, so I'm mad. And then she says, well, can you at least hang out with Nathan during the ceremony? Nathan is their baby's name. I got to remember that. Okay, then the next thing, we have Gigi on a lobby bench by the elevator in Mac's old building. She's waiting for the potential Uncle Molester Mac victim to come home from school. She's looking at an article by her never was, could have been boyfriend Darius on her phone. Michaela, then the little girl comes, and she's, Gigi goes up to the little girl and she says, I'm Pastor Gigi, I work at this church. And the little girl was like, oh, is that where Mr. McCready, that's Uncle Molester Mac, used to work? And then she's like, yeah. And the little girl's like, am I in trouble? And Gigi is like, no, can we go talk? So they go sit out in Gigi's car. And the little girl is like, well, he basically just told me things from books he was reading, and he would give me money. And Michaela is like, are you the cops? Why are you asking me questions? Gigi is like, no, I'm not the cops. I told you I'm not the cops. And she she says, well, he didn't do anything wrong. I know he was arrested, but he wasn't convicted. And Gigi is like, he was convicted. He just hasn't served jail time. But I'm glad he didn't do anything to you. So, you shouldn't feel bad. And the little girl is like, well, can I go now? And then the next thing we see is Mac on his computer. He's ordering flowers. Michaela calls him. The little girl Gigi just met with calls him. And she says, a lady came by asking me questions. You know what she was asking me questions about? And I'm like, is he still grooming her? He hasn't consummated their relationship. He's still working on her. She's the next one in line of a long line of children, girl children that he's molested. That's what it looks like to me. And his girlfriend comes into the apartment or home. I don't know if they live together or what, while he's on the phone. And he's kind of like, hold on a second. And then when he gets off the line, he says that it was his lawyer. Now, her jaw looks kind of tight when she comes in then. But I don't know, maybe she just don't like him being on the phone with anybody. Maybe she knew about the news or whatever and feel like she done got her a catch and she gonna hold on to him. I don't know what her story is. The next thing we see is Skanks and Jacob and 4 or 5 other folks who are poker players. They're like in a stairwell or a hallway of an office building. The guy that Uncle Molester Mac met on the park bench is part of the poker group. He pulls Pastor Jacob Greenleaf Jr. Triumph 2 aside, and he says, look, I saw your uncle and he asked me for a job. Jacob is like, don't do that. And, the guy is like, it's just something to pay the bills. And Jacob is like, don't do that. And then he's like, well, that don't seem to be the Christian thing to do. You know, it seemed like the Christian thing to do is to help the man. And then Jacob snatches him up. He's like, don't do that. You know, I have to go by the lake where my baby sister drowned herself. If you do anything to help him other than spit on him, I don't know what he says, I will tear your ass up. I will tear you apart. You know how the cops say to people, I'll light you up. That's basically where Jacob is. The next thing we see is Lady May and Pastor Bishop Daddy looking at pictures of the little of Faith when she was a little girl, the sister who committed suicide. And Lady May is like, we were happy then and we didn't even know it. Gigi enters and her mom is like, come on and look at these pictures. And Gigi is like, nah, thank you. And come on, you know, Lady May says, we're mourning your sister. We're looking at pictures. Come on over here. And Gigi is like, no. And then Lady May is like, go on up to your hidey hole then. You know, you don't know nothing about pain. The first time you don't get what you want and you act like it's the end of the world, because Gigi really wants Mac to be arrested. And Lady May feel like this is the first time that something bad has happened to you. And she says, you don't know what your sister endured. You don't know what I endured. You don't know what those little girls your uncle molested endured. And she real upset, and she says she just tired and drained and forget it, gone. I ain't got nothing else for you. And Pastor Bishop Daddy is silent and kind of pensive. Then the next thing we see is at the poker table, and Skanks is jubilant and winning. And the next time we see the poker table, it's a little more tense because Skanks thinks that he won big. I mean, it's like big money on the table. But did he get hustled? Because he had like 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King, but the other person had Ace, King, Queen, Jack, 10 or whatever. It was like better than what he had. And so I don't know, but his jaw's a little tight. And then Jacob asked him, Bassy, is that the church's money you lost in there tonight? And Bassy Skank says, most definitely. Most definitely. Then the next thing we see is Uncle Molester Mac and his lady friend. They're coming back from dinner. And he's gone into the restroom. His phone rings. She picks it up. She reads the text message. The text message says, my mom is tripping. Can I come stay with you tonight? And then she goes into the bathroom and she's like, who is this? And, confronting him, her jaws are real tight by then. And he's like, this is my niece. But I was confused. He said it was his niece Zora or his niece Sophia. But he said because the memorial is coming up tomorrow, it's like real tense. But I don't think it was his niece. I think it was the little girl that he's grooming. And then we have, I don't know if he's grooming her or not. Maybe they have a relationship. Then the next thing we have Pastor Bishop Daddy reading in bed. He's looking very seriously, pensively, thoughtfully at his sleeping wife, Lady May. We have Charity soothing the crying baby. We have Gigi in a room with lots of boxes. So I think that this must be her sister's old room that they've started packing up, that they haven't totally packed up. Faith, is that her name? And she looks in a Bible and she finds an old picture of Faith plus one of the other siblings. And she rubs the picture and she says, I really miss you, sister. And then the next thing we have is Pastor Jacob Greenleaf Triumph 2. He's at home with Clarissa. And Clarissa is telling Zora, get your baby brother ready. And Zora is like, 1 minute, I'm doing this hard work of maintaining my brand and my internet presence. And her mother is like, you better go get that boy ready. And then the daughter is like, well, can you buy me followers? Grandma does it. And the mama is like, exactly, my case in point, that's the wrong thing to do. And then she looks at her husband and he looks kind of away. And so she's like, could you tell me something about Faith? And he basically says that she encouraged me when I had hit a wall with my professional spokes and his professional sports. And she felt like there was nothing, like her big brother could do anything. And his wife says, you can. And then the next thing, we're at Faith's Memorial. Lady May is there. Bishop Daddy is there. Gigi is there. Sophia is there. Charity is there. Zora is there. Clarissa is there. And Jacob is there. It's a small, intimate affair. And, the pastor says a couple words. Then the next thing we see is questioning Kev with his baby in the house. He sees Aaron and he ends up walking up to him and they end up watching football together. Oh, I figured you'd be here. Yeah, I'm watching football. You want to sit down? And they're watching football and it's kind of like they're peeking at each other. So the same thing I said when I first saw them encounter, I'm like, I think they about to get together. What you think? You think they gonna get together? Sophia, when they're leaving, the next time we see they're leaving the memorial service, and Sophia is apologizing to Zora. I'm sorry, Z. Why is she apologizing to that wild child? And Zora is very, very dry to her. And she says, it's cool. I already forgot about it. And then the next thing, we're back from the memorial. We're walking in the house. Lady May is telling her staff, I can't remember the lady's name, oh, everything is fabulous. The dining room table is set up. This is just what I wanted. And they're getting ready to eat. And Gigi notices that some flowers have been delivered. Oh, who are the flowers from? Somebody asked. And Gigi is like, oh, they're probably from whoever, her girlfriend or whatever. And she looks at the card. And then she throws the card down and she leaves the house. And she tells Sophia to stay here. And Sophia looks at the card and sees that the flowers are from Mac. And then Sophia goes out on the porch and she sees Gigi speeding off from the property. That's the end. That was Greenleaf season 2, episode 7, Born to Trouble. What you think? Are you enjoying Greenleaf? I like Greenleaf. So anyway, that's all I got. Be you, be fabulous, be fabulous you, and have a wonderful, wonderful, fabulous, outstanding day or night or whatever it is for you, boo. Bye.